Let's talk a little bit more about manipulating our program output in the console window. So I have a simple program here using cout to display a couple of sentences. Welcome to MIS 160. Are we having fun yet? When I run the program, okay, we can see we're all on one line. The two sentences that I typed out, and also this press any key. You may not like the way that looks. So I'm going to show you how to break up the lines in your program using cout. Okay, here's probably the most common thing you'll do in your programs. If you want to advance to a next line, you will use what we call endl, and you'll see this all over the place in your book. We're going to add another insertion operator. We talked about cout and how it always uses the insertion operator. And here we have a string constant where we have our two sentences in quotes, the characters all strung together, like I said, like beads on a necklace. And now I'm going to add another insertion operator, and then this guy, endl, which stands for end line. And you can see the effect that this has on our output. Okay, so already it looks much better. So endl will basically advance you to the next line, but you have to use it with another insertion operator. This whole technique here is called cascading, and your book does talk about this. But when you have you have cout, we begin the statement with cout, and then an insertion operator, and then we have a string constant, and then another insertion operator, and then something else. That's called cascading. That's a technique that you'll be doing quite often. So basically, let's say I wanted to spread this output over a couple of lines as well. What I have to do, I can't just drop endl in the middle of a string constant here. It has to be in black. You know, the string constant is burgundy. And notice how other things are in black and blue. Of course, these are in burgundy too. But eventually you'll get a feel for how things are supposed to look. But this is a no-no here. So what I would have to do if I wanted to drop endl in the middle of that whole thing is end the quotes here. Then I'm adding an insertion operator, and then endl, and then yet another insertion operator, and then open the quotes on that. So the sentences have been split up, and we have endl in the middle there, okay? But the endl is between two insertion operators, kind of like bookends. So this is the pattern that you have to use, and it's tricky. You know, the most common mistake you'll make is maybe forgetting one of the insertion operators. And you know what? First I'll run it, you know, as is with no errors, and then I'm going to generate that error and show you. Okay, so now we're over 3 lines. Welcome to MIS 160, and then our first endl kicks in here. And then are we having fun yet? This is our second endl. And then, of course, the press any key. Oh, another thing, when it says press any key to continue, make sure you actually do that. Just press the enter key or something. You don't want to minimize your program. You know, sometimes the students just minimize them to get them out of the way, and then they keep running and running, or you know, look, I've minimized the program and I can't. My option to run is not available to me because it's still running. So it may not be apparent that your program is down there. You have to bring it up and press any key to get rid of it, and now you're back to normal. Okay, so let me show you what happens. We're going to talk more about errors. It's really just something that we're going to have to deal with constantly. Even I, you know, after many years of programming, still generate plenty of errors, and the key is just learning how to troubleshoot them and practicing and getting good at it. But this is a very common thing you'll do, is forgetting an insertion operator somewhere. So I have like a lot of cascading going on with the insertion operators and the endls and the string constants. And you can see, you know, if you take a glance at that statement, it really does look quite good at first glance. Nothing really jumps out at you. So that's a really easy mistake to make. So watch, I go ahead and run it. And yes, I want to build. All right, now it's saying that there were errors. Would you like to continue? Always no at this point. You can't run a program with errors. So you have to say no and then go to your code here. So let's see, what do we have? 3 errors. Okay, see, I'm scrolling up here. Scroll up to the top, and it'll give you your errors. And basically, the most important thing here is this, that number 8 is the line where the error is occurring. That would be about your 8th line of code. I'll have to play around with this. There is a way to get the line numbers up on your in your code editor, but basically what you can do is take one of those errors where it says error, 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 any one of those, and just double click on it, and it'll bring you to the statement where the error is. Now, obviously, this is our only substantial code statement, so the error is here, but what you're going to have to do, and eventually our programs are going to be longer, of course, what you have to do is when it says you have an error on a line, you have to look very closely at that line. Just pick through it character by character, starting at the beginning. And, you know, it does take practice. If you were to start here and keep going, you know, hopefully at this point you'd be like, oh, of course, I forgot my insertion operator, and add it back in. So the double clicking on the error message, just look for where it says error, and, you know, maybe a line number. The line numbers, like I said, you know, I'll let you know how you can add them to the window. But if you just double click, it should take you to the approximate location where you need to be. Okay, so now we're back to normal. This is a good one. Okay, and I want to show you another technique that will advance you to another line. Let's say I didn't really want to add the endl. So now we're back to just the one long string constant. And if you don't want to break up your string constant, because you know, it took several keystrokes to do that, and we had to deal with the insertion operators and, you know, the possibility of missing one of them, generating an error. This is another way that you can advance to a new line, and this is called an escape sequence. And I'm going to get right into my string constant. I'm going to go to where I want the new line to break, and I'm going to type \n. Okay, \n. That's called an escape sequence. And \n is in fact the new line escape sequence. And so I'm going to run that. And there we go. Okay, the \n, the new line escape sequence, advance me to the next line here. And then endl is the one that's working at the end here. If I want, I can get rid of all my endls and just go with new lines. Okay, and it works all the same. So you have two options as far as advancing to the next line. Now, very importantly, notice that the new lines are inside of my string constant. They're inside the quotes, whereas the endls don't work that way. They go outside of the quotes, so you have to keep that straight. Here's a very common mistake that students will make with the new line. They'll put it outside. You know, you know, we think that whatever's in quotes is going to go on, you know, in our output. And of course, you don't want a \n in your output. So students, I think, want to put it on the outside. But the new line is what we call a non-printing character. So it doesn't print itself. It manipulates the output, but you don't see it when we run. So I think that's why students like to put it on the outside, and that's not going to work. That'll generate an error. So let's generate that error. No, I don't want to continue. I'm going to go to the top. Okay, well, here we go. It says illegal escape sequence. So if I double click on this line, it'll take me to the offending place in the program. Another thing I'll point out here is that it says I have 3 errors, and I really don't. It's really just one, and that's something. I mean, you could run a program, a longer program, and it'll tell you you have 100 errors, and that doesn't mean you have 100 errors, not by a long shot. You may have a couple errors, and it's creating some kind of snowball effect throughout the program. So you really have to just kind of take it with a grain of salt when the compiler tells you you have X amount of errors. Okay, so let's get that back. Okay, so there is your new line escape sequence. Here's another escape sequence, just for fun, \01. see what that does. Okay. And there's your smiley face escape sequence. So you can make a lot of characters that you won't see on the keyboard, like some of the currencies. Like you can make the British pound sign for money, and you can make the degree symbol for a program that's dealing with temperature and that type of thing. So those are escape sequences. It's basically a backslash and some kind of character, group of characters. By far, the most important escape sequence that you'll do is the backslash n, and I would like you to know that one. Here's another one real quick, backslash t. You can probably guess what that would do. Let's see. Okay, that's the tab.